friend, and welcome or welcome back. It is a brand new year, and I feel like with the start of a new year, we're usually thinking about how our goals, how we can simplify, how we can make our lives a little bit more focused, a little bit more easy, make things run more smoothly. So I really wanted to talk about some ways that I have approached simplifying and even minimalism to make my life more stress-free and my family's life ultimately. So I'm really excited to share these ideas with you. Thank you for being here. Let's hop right in. I'm gonna start with the most obvious first, but if you want to embrace a more minimized life, and when I say minimalism, this does not mean completely stripped down to the bones, where you're really living without so much that you're feeling deprived. That is absolutely not what minimalism is. And you can approach minimalism on any single level that you want to. But it does make a huge difference if you can declutter your space. My whole channel is pretty much dedicated to teaching you and helping you, motivating you to declutter. So I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I have a new book recommendation. This is Decluttering at the Speed of Life. This is by Dana K. White. Her YouTube channel is also amazing. I'm also going to link that below so that you can follow her. But declutter your space. Oh my goodness, it will transform your life. Even if you just spend 5 minutes a day or 30 minutes a week decluttering, it makes all the difference in the world. So start by decluttering your space a little bit at a time and get motivated, get inspired. So I'll leave this linked down below. So when I think of minimalism, I think of what can I eliminate or cut out of my life or reduce in order to appreciate, live more fully, all of the things that I do enjoy. So I want to get out of my life the things that are causing me stress, anxiety, worry, overwhelm. And I used to be the kind of person at the beginning of the year, I would write all these goals. You guys, it didn't work. It never ever worked to do it this way. So I recommend cutting it down to maybe even one goal per month, and you're just gonna focus on this one thing. It's more about quality than quantity in pretty much every single area of your life, but right now I really wanted to apply this to goals. And when you're able to focus so much more intentionally, it just makes a big difference. You're more successful, and I like the idea of making monthly goals rather than yearly goals and focusing on the process. I feel like a before and after photo. Let's think about weight loss. You've got the before photo and the after photo, and you're like, holy cow, that's amazing. And we feel like in just a short amount of time, we should be able to go from this to this. You guys, that's so unrealistic. It's all the things in the middle that mattered. It's all the time and effort and energy spent working towards the goal that in the end produced the outcome. Think about this with decluttering your house. We see these before and after photos. This really cluttered, a completely hoarded room turned into this beautiful, airy and bright space, and we think we should just snap our fingers and it's gonna happen, but that is not the case. It is all the effort and time and energy and focus that was in the middle between the before and after that mattered. So what I think we should do, rather than focusing just on like, I really should be here, I should be here at the end, we should focus on the process. And this again is just being really intentional, really mindful. And I think that's something that we can do to live more minimally and live more mindfully, is just stop stressing out so much about how quickly we get from A to B, but what we're able to learn and accomplish and how we're able to grow through that journey. I came across the most fun challenge recently, and I had to share it. It is a saving money challenge, and I think when it comes to thinking more intentionally and more mindfully, saving money is just like an automatic thing that pops into my head. I think when we're living more minimally, it really is an opportunity to save more money and just live a little bit more financially conscious. So this challenge will help you save $500 in 1 month. And on the first day, you save $1. On the second day, you save $2. Third day, $3. And you're going to do this for 31 days. Now, some of you might be thinking, I don't have 500 extra. Like, it's just not possible. Do it for 2 weeks. Do it for 1 week. Do what you can and save some money. And it just helps you get out of the habit of shopping and spending money. And it shifts your focus to saving. And what I love about this, there's many things, but one of the things I love about this is it opens up more opportunities for experiences. A lot of cool experiences are free, but a lot of them aren't. And I think this is a really, really cool way to be able to focus more on experiences in your life. As a mom, this next one is really hard for me. I have to super focus and be very intentional and have this in the forefront of my mind and able to accomplish it. But that is to single task, and it seems so simple, and it is so simple, but I think especially when we're busy people, we have our families, our job, our pets, whatever it is, whatever our responsibilities are, we tend to get in the habit of multitasking. And although I think there's a time and place for multitasking for sure, sometimes you have to just to get through the day, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when we can single task, it gets us in the habit of just slowing down and doing things more mindfully. And I think this is a huge component to minimalism. In general, just being more mindful, being more slow, and just kind of de-stressing. And I have found when I single task and I even move a little bit slower, I've been making macaroni and cheese before and I'm like whipping that stuff up and I'm like, oh, Candace, slow it down. You don't have to move so fast. And I do, I slow myself down and it instantly makes me feel more calm. So as funny as that sounds, it does make a difference. Try to single task when you can. Think quality over quantity in every possible area. This is another idea of minimalism that I absolutely adore. You can apply this to everything, your clothes, your toys, your friends, absolutely anything in life you can apply this to. And sometimes I think we feel like we're going to be missing out again, especially if we have like collections of things. But focusing on quality is going to give us less in our home to manage, which is such a great thing. When you have less to manage, you have less to clean, you have less stress. So you're cutting down the inventory in your home, and then you're investing in things that last. And I just think this is amazing. And this is not to say you should go out and replace everything in your home with higher quality items and you're stressed and you're like, but I don't have the money for that. No, this is as you go through life, a little birthday here, a little holiday there, you're replacing things as you go. And hopefully, again, we're focusing on the process. Hopefully over the course of however long it takes, you have filled your life with these high quality items and also eliminated all that excess. Growing up, I was always taught to try not to be so critical. And I think this is great for character building, and don't be so critical. Don't be so critical of others. Don't be so critical of yourself. But as I have pursued a more simplified and minimized life, I have learned to be critical of my possessions. And this, I think, is a healthy boundary. You want to have a healthy relationship with your stuff. So although I try not to be critical of people or myself, I am very critical of my things. I will ask my actual possessions, Are you serving me? Are you giving to me or taking from me? Or are you taking more than you're giving? I am very, very critical when it comes to the things that I both keep and allow into my home. And I think this is good. We need to shift our minds and realize that not all criticism is bad. When we have a relationship with our stuff and we're critical with our things and we set these boundaries, I think it can be really, really helpful. So be critical. Be critical of these items in your home and ask them these tough questions and ask if they are serving you. If they're not, it's time to let them go, and you can do that guilt-free, because the point of minimalism is to only live with the things that are serving you, helping you, and encouraging you to live your best life. So it's okay. You can guilt-free let go of the things that are not serving you, that are actually taking more from you. I do not want to sound cliche, but focusing on gratitude is an amazing way to move towards a more minimal, mindful, and simplified life. And I think we're just in this mindset as a culture of having always like a running list of the things we want. And maybe it's just in our head, maybe it's on paper, it doesn't matter. But I think we just generally, as a culture, do this. But I think rather than doing that, although I think it's okay to have a list of a few things that you would like to have someday, but rather than having that be the main focus, I think it's really nice to have gratitude for the things that we have be more of a forefront focus in our minds. I like to say prayers of gratitude. I don't write in a gratitude journal, although I think that is incredible. So if you're somebody who likes to journal, do that. But for me, it works better for me to say a prayer of gratitude. If you're not religious, you can actually thank the item. Thank you so much for serving me today. Thank you for helping me. And just having this spirit of gratitude, it just lifts your spirits and is such a beautiful, mindful thing to do. All right, we just talked about the running list of things that we might want to get someday, or the wish list of items that we'd like to have. I love to have an unbuy list. Unbuy, unbuy. And this is where anytime you were online shopping or you came home from the store and you had passed up an item that you wanted to bring home, you actually write it down, and you maybe only do this for a week or a month, because it's a little bit of work. But what it's showing you is how much money you are able to save when you pass up items that ultimately you don't need. And so this is your unbuy list. See how much money you're able to save in a week or a month by passing up these items that you otherwise would have bought. So the dollar section at Target, maybe you found 7 things that you could have easily brought home with you. Get home and write that down in your unbuy journal or your unbuy list. $7, a $50, new coffee table that you found on the marketplace. Write it down. Tally this up at the end and see how much you're saving by thinking more mindfully and focusing more on minimalism. I think it's important to get inspired. I love that Decluttering at the Speed of Life book when it comes to really specific tactics on how to declutter your stuff and how to form a healthy relationship with your possessions. I love that. But when it comes to actual minimalism, I have a couple other recommendations. Clutter Free with Kids is amazing. This is by Joshua Becker. It gives you specific ways that you can help your family minimize and declutter. The Minimalist Home is a really, really good overview of how to go through each room of your house and declutter, how to look at your items again. This one's kind of like Decluttering at the Speed of Life, but with a different tone. This is, again, by Joshua Becker. Decluttering at the Speed of Life with Dana is funny. She's hilarious. This is a little bit more practically presented, but they're both amazing. And then my absolute favorite one that I haven't mentioned in a long time is The Minimalist Way by Erica Lane. It's beautiful to help you get into a mindset. It really shifted my perspective when it came to minimalism, and this is the book that ultimately changed my perspective and helped me not only go from wanting to declutter my house, but actually doing it. So this was the first book I read, and it just so happened to be life-changing. So I will have all of these listed down below, along with some other accounts that I follow that I think are so good for encouragement and motivation, like the Minimal Mom and Clutterbug. So I'll have all those listed. I hope today's video was helpful. Please subscribe for more videos just like this for the whole year of 2022. I'm so glad to have you in my life. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.